Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Brave Hearts by Luciano. So today we are going to discuss about why do we feel overwhelmed, emotionally flat, sometimes restless, even though we are routinely doing everything in a correct manner. We are disciplined, we follow our responsibilities, we work hard, yet we feel something is wrong inside us. I want you to understand this is not a problem related to your mentality or your personality. This is also not your weakness. This is actually the biology. So, if you want to learn why this happens and how do we overcome this situation and move forward while disciplinary person, please watch this video until end. So, my dear friends, the main issue is here our brain, our nervous system and our emotional needs does not receive the signals they evolve to receive. So I am going to discuss the root cause in five different principles. So the first one is our brain does not care about doing the right thing. So in the evolutionary perspective, human mind, our brain is evolved to be safe, to be controlled, to be meaningful and belong. It does not evolve to chase success, to be progress, or to be productive, and to be socially accepted or socially disciplined. So, when you say, I'm doing everything right, but your mind say otherwise, your mind say, am I being safe? Am I being authentic? Am I being meaningful? What I do? So, if it is not aligned with your mind's values, then automatically your brain will release a stress response. So, the second root cause is chronic stress without danger. So, most people believe stress comes from danger, but the modern stress is very different. The modern stress comes from chronic lower level stress. When you suppress your emotions, when you continually perform, when you avoid conflicts, and you live by expectations instead of internal signals. So, when that happens, your body signals a sympathetic nervous system activations. That means fight or flight. So, the result is you feel anxiety, you feel irritability, you feel mental fatigue. Sometimes, maybe you feel like your emotional numbness. So, this does not mean that anything is wrong with you. So, this does not mean your life is very hard. This actually means is your body is not fully relaxed. So, the third one is the role of cortisol and dopamine. So, let's get into the specifics. So, as you know, cortisol is the hormone responsible for the stress in our body. So, when you are constantly holding it together, your cortisol level in the blood is mildly increased. So then your body is in a state of alert. So when you're in alert, the brain continuously finding problems. So that is why you feel like something is wrong and I don't really know. So the second hormone is dopamine. As you know, dopamine is the hormone responsible for the motivation and reward. But the dopamine is released into your bloodstream only your efforts leads to the meaningful outcomes. But when you are working hard, achieving goal, but you don't have any internal satisfaction of what you are doing, the dopamine system is dysregulated. After that, you feel like emptiness, the loss of satisfaction, and what is the point like questions. So the fourth part is the brain conflict that causes this feeling. So what you are experiencing is a conflict between two systems, that is prefrontal cortex and the limbic system. So our prefrontal cortex in our brain is responsible for the planning, logic, discipline, and responsibility. So your prefrontal cortex is saying, I am doing everything right. So the other system is limbic system. So the limbic system is responsible for the safety, emotion, meaning, and belonging. So your limbic system is saying what is wrong with you or something is wrong. So when these two systems are conflicting, your body experiences this as anxiety or emptiness. So the fifth and final part is being grateful does not work. Because telling yourself to be grateful does not calm down the nervous system. Why? Because gratitude is cognitive and the anxiety is physiological. So you cannot think your way out of your body state. So that's why people usually say, my life is good, but something feels not okay. So their logic is true because their nervous system is not regulated. So we have discussed what is the problem, and now we are going to discuss how we can overcome this and feel good. So the first one is nervous system regulation. So in this aspect, we can do simple activities in order to calm down the nervous system. The first one is slow breathing, usually short inhales and longer exhales. The other one is activities, smaller activities like stretching, walking, like this. So when we are doing these activities, it directly affects the amygdala activity, and the amygdala activity affects the reduction of cortisol levels in our body. When the cortisol levels is reducing in our bloodstream, that directly signals the safety to our body. So you must understand that nervous system regulation is not a mindset, it is a biological activity. So by doing those activities, you can regulate the safety to your body. So the second one is reduce emotional suppression safely. So naming the emotions and naming it loud. Also discuss these emotions safely with a trusted person. Doing those things will reduce the limbic system activation. So research also showed that naming out the emotions loudly will reduce the stress triggered. So what you do is you express your emotions. When we suppress the emotions, it will build up. What you suppressed is expressed in your body. So the third one is replace the performance goals with meaning based goals. So what we can do here is we can daily choose some activity that gives internal reward. So the other one is choosing efforts that aligns with your values, not just the approval. Why it works is the meaningful activities sustain the dopamine release, not the short dopamine spikes. So it restores the motivation and emotional energy. So the fourth one is make small, honest changes. Sometimes it may be one boundary, sometimes it may be one obligations review, sometimes one postponed conversation. So why it works is the nervous system responds to the signals of agency. So one simple honest choice will reduce the chemistry of stress. And most importantly, the relief comes from control, not the perfection. So the final and fifth one is stop invalidating your internal signals. So replace I shouldn't feel like this with my body is responding for a reason. So self invalidation increases the internal conflict. Then it ultimately increases the stress hormone levels in your body. But validation calms down the threat response. So the reason you feel this way is your nervous system is signaling the misalignment of how you feel and what your brain is evolved to need. It is not weakness, it is not failure, and it is not ingratitude. So this feeling is not a flaw. It is a biological signal seeking for safety, meaning, regulation, and honesty. Once you address the system, the feelings change, not because you try hard, but because you listen correctly. So thank you for joining with Brave Hearts by Luciano. I hope this message is important and valuable for you. If you believe this message is important for your friend or family or someone, please share this video. So if you need anything to clarify, please comment and I will make a video on that topic. So I believe Brave Hearts by Luciano is a place for every people to unveil what is truly going in their mind. So thank you for joining me.